Alright guys, so got our package back from Rex, which is RW Mods. This is for the three engines, the STS, the Pico, and the ST27. So we're going to throw these guys back together. I did put the bearings in already. I thought I hit record and I didn't. So there is 20 minutes of me rambling to myself installing bearings, which is slightly friggin' irritating. Anyways, moving on. I have tons and tons and tons of bearing videos, so don't worry about that. Right, so what we got is we got brand new, these are the bearings. I don't know what kind they are, but they're that kind. So we got brand new bearings in all of them. New fronts, new rears, and all our piston and sleeves are pinched, meaning they have been resized. So basically in these engines, when this brass starts to wear, the piston will want to go all the way through to the top, which is no good. So they've all been pinched and they're all like brand new again. So we're just gonna stuff these guys back to camera, or it's been a long freaking morning. Stuff these guys back together on camera. Right. So we'll stick with this Pico here first. So I got this cooling head, head button, head gasket, back cover, and back cover screws, which are right here. Okay, yeah, so let's zing these guys back together for you, just so you guys can see, because I remember I took these apart for you, and a couple of people were asking what happened, and if they ever got fixed, or went back to the owner, or whatever, so here we are. So, this rear is 2 millimeters, and the top screws are 2.5. Right, yeah, so anyway, sorry about that. I wish I would have caught all that on video, but it's the way shit happens sometimes. No big deal. I mean, like I said, I have tons and tons of bearing videos, so if you guys are really, really upset by that, you guys can go watch one of the other ones. Just gonna clean these guys out. And that's cherry and super mint. Peppermint, whatever. Huh? No. No, I'm filming. Fuck off. Sorry about that. Buddy of mine. Alright, so we got some clots here. As per usual, stick some in there. The bearings. These are ceramic bearings. We're going to go with those, but these are just basically going to be bashers. So we're just going to stick with steelies. They're absolutely fine. I mean, ceramics are nice, but fuck, are they ever expensive. I mean, you know, absolutely ridiculous. So we're not going to run those. Steel is absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with it. People like ceramic over steel. It's an opinion. It's like an asshole. Everyone's got one. Right. So next is our piston. It's a little bit discolored just from the fuel that was ran in it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly fine. So actually, it's going to give that a little shot of brake clean there. Just make sure there's no gunk up in that wrist pin area. Yeah, so basically everything just gets resized and repinched because, as you guys know, or at least most of you know, these engines don't have any piston rings. So they rely on like a pinch fit tapered bore to work. Put some oil up in that wrist pin area, as per usual, which just makes it so nothing is dry upon starting. Put some in that bottom eye there. And with this Pico, this is an Evo, I think 2021 or P7-R. So anyways, the notched side of the piston faces towards the carburetor side, or the front of the block. So I just stick this guy in there. Might have to go and use my little set of pliers here, so you guys can kind of see what I'm looking at. Make sure those guys are kind of clean, so you guys can look in there, see the connecting rod. Just want to pick it up like that, just kind of spin it all together, and it's kind of hard to do this because I can't see, so I'm trying to feel, try to show you guys. There we go. So you don't want to pinch, like if you're gonna pick up the connecting rod with pliers, don't pinch in through the bushing, grab the outside. That's all I'm doing, because I had someone try to give me shit about that and I'm not fucking having it. So that's That's what's going on there. So if you don't like it, don't watch. Simple as that. Right. Anyways, so we're going to put some oil on the inside of the sleeve here. A little oil on the outside of the sleeve. And yeah, Rex does amazing work. I mean, he's a really, really good dude. So you guys go check him out. And a lot of people ask me, oh, what bearing puller do you have? Well, I don't have a bearing puller tool because I do so many different engines that it's not worth it for me to buy one, because I'd have to spend $500 or $1,000 in just the collets alone to do all these different engines with. There we go. Nice and lovely. So you can see the piston doesn't go all the way to the top. When you turn it, it stops and wants to lift the sleeve up like that. Oh, got it stuck. See, like that? That's normal. That's a good sign. But yeah, so people kept asking me why I don't have bearing pullers and all that kind of stuff, and I should get one and blah blah blah. Well, if you guys want to literally buy $1,000 worth of collets and bearing pullers and all that other fun shit from Huddy or whoever that place is called, feel free. I'm not gonna stop you if you guys want to do that. That'd be cool, but not happening. So I just use a little propane or propylene torch over there, and that seems to work absolutely fine. I've been doing it for many, many years without any kind of issue. So this engine, there's 2 head gaskets. Just put them both on. No oil goes here. It's not needed. So just slap our head button back on. And sometimes these things do say they're supposed to go a certain way. I've never seen any difference. Let's see here. Just going to line her up. Sure, sleeve is lined up. Ah, typical freaking things. Get stuck. Hey cat, what are you doing? Come on. I hate it when this happens. It's so freaking irritating. The fitment between the top of the sleeve and the head button is so bloody tight. They often get stuck together and you're trying to rotate and line up the friggin', it's super irritating when that happens, but as long as you can get it. This one doesn't have any specific markings on any which way it goes. So, alright, the whole video is going to be one damn engine putting it back together. Freaking not on my game today. Line up the holes. Pop. Good to go. Right, head screws. So we're just going to use a little, doesn't matter what you use, we're just going to use a little bit of WD on there. Because people keep asking, do I use WD-40 as after oil? The answer to that is no, for several reasons. Because it's not oil, it's more of a solvent, but it does have a slight lubricating property to it. And I use it for its intended purpose, which is displacing water. Water dispersant, Formula 40, solvent. It does have a little bit of a slippery to it, but it's not good enough. I mean, people argue to the freaking hilt all freaking day about it, and I don't really care what anyone has to say. I've been doing it for long enough, I know better. Right. I'll probably put the Evo side facing forward. I don't really think it matters. Yay! Engine day. Yeah, these engines are all very, very worn out. Yeah, so basically like a pinch. Like, I mean, if you were to have to buy a new piston and cylinder for each one of these engines, it just wouldn't be worth it. I think the piston and cylinder for this engine that I'm holding, this Pico, retails for like 150 Canadian. And a pinch is like 35 bucks Canadian. So obviously, you guys can kind of do the math there and which one's cheaper. Now, I will say, when you do this, you're going to have to break the engine in all over again, which is no big deal. I do suggest replacing the connecting rod when you do this, but I was unable to find a new replacement, but this one was absolutely perfect. There was no wear. So I'm not too worried about that. Right. Top end's all back together. Nice and tight like it should be. This is a bump start motor. Where's all the water keep coming from? Huh. Interesting. Oh, it's condensation. Okay, whatever. Alright, so we got our back plate. There's a notch in it. The notch faces up, always. Reason for that, and if you do try to take the engine apart without it near top dead center, so you want to put the piston near the top, because if you don't, that notch can grab the bottom side of the sleeve and actually break the piston off. And a lot of people, they don't think, or they don't take the time to pay attention, and what ends up happening is they get impatient and they get a screwdriver in here and they pry it off and break the bottom of the piston off and ruin the block. And you don't ever do that. If it doesn't come apart, warm it up a little bit and use common sense. Just like with everything else. Common sense is your friend in any situation. Oh, wait a minute. Is that the right one? Ah, thought something was wrong here. That's an STS backplate. Derp. Oh, okay. Thought it looked wrong. That doesn't fit properly. Ah, there we go. That's the ticket. Should have a nice pop when you put it together like that too. Inspect the O-ring that goes there, make sure it's not damaged. For fuck's sakes. Hopefully I have enough video space to get all three of these motors done, because these things take a freaking few minutes here. Okay, done. Alright, and of course the carburetor, which is this guy. I'm not going to put it back on because it needs to be taken apart and cleaned because it's seized, but there you go. There's number one. Let's move on to the STS here, which is this guy and this guy with those screws, I believe. For fuck's sakes. It's always something, isn't it? Alright. Yeah, this STS. These STS motors are pretty freaking bitchin', actually. If you can find a couple of them. I mean, they're discontinued, sadly, but like I said, if you get your hands on one of them, they really fucking rock, actually. They really do sweet, so. Yeah. So same as before. Some oil up in here. Get some oil up in there. And some oil on the piston. And some oil in there. Actually, what we're going to do, I already did it the other one, but take a pin where the oil hole is, run a pin through there, make sure there's no junk in there. See that? There's an idea for you. How about that? This used to be a silicone filled crank, but the previous owner liked using WD-40 in it, and the WD-40 ate the silicone plug. So there you go. Pop. She goes together. Again, with the cutout facing the front of the engine. Yeah, so the previous owner liked to use WD-40 in there. And the WD-40 ate the silicone plug in the crank. So I had to remove it, or what was left of it. So this guy is a pretty crazy looking sleeve. So, we got the big window, faces towards the exhaust. Yeah, so I just had to let it soak in some diesel for a few days, just to get rid of the rest of the silicone. Piston's cocked sideways. These things are all brand new fitment again, right? So they're kind of tight and hard to get back together. There we go. By the way, what's up, Nitro Freak? I've been watching your videos lately quite a bit. Same with Hybrid there. Another really great RC channel. Those guys are always doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Freaking weather's gotten cold over here, guys. Like, big time. Big time, big time. Nice and smooth. Perfect. Freaking got a weather report last night in my area, Vancouver, Canada. It was -2 overnight, with a daily high today of 3 degrees. Which means I'm not going to go out bashing. Okay, our head gasket's there, screws are there. Because it is just too friggin' cold to stand outside. People are going to go, oh, you're a Canadian, you should be used to cold weather. Well, yeah, I am, but I don't fancy bringing preheat equipment and all that other crap to the friggin' park with me, depending on the situation. Or just standing up there freezing my ass off, so. Same idea with the carburetor on this one. I gotta clean it. Because it's friggin' seized. The barrel's all kind of gummed up on them, so. But I'm just slapping these guys back together just so you can kind of see. Again, I don't know for anyone that really cares, I guess, but. And click. Click. And click. Right. And again, same idea, make sure that notch is up, make sure your O-ring isn't damaged or missing. Well, that thing's got crazy pinch. Crazy. Right. Yeah, it's a real big shame they don't make these STS motors anymore, because, shit, did they ever freaking really rock back in the day. I had a couple of STS 18s and 21, and I believe I had the exact same motor as this, except it was a pull start model. And a Savage. And holy shit, did it fly. Really, really went good. I need to order new carburetor O-rings because these ones are all been siliconed and goofed with. But there we go. STS, all back together. Now, on to the last here. We have the little, what is this again? It's a Super Tiger ST27. Another good engine, actually. They don't make them anymore either, which is kind of the shits, but yeah, again, sleeve was pinched. That cutout faces towards the carburetor side as always. So I'm going to put some oil up in that pin. Yeah, fucking kind of sucks I didn't get a chance to do the bearings on video, but whatevs. I mean, shit happens. It's not like I have a hell of a lot of recording space to begin with, but it's what it is. Annoyingly enough. Yeah, so one of those dealios. Oh, which way does this guy go back in? Hold on. Oh, okay, yeah, we got it there. Got it, got it, got it. Yeah, so a lot of people ask, like, oh, when you have them pinched, what do you have to do? And I'm like, okay, well, like I said, you gotta break them in all over again. Because it's just like how the engine was new from factory. A nice tight taper at the top. So that's why. Right. Big port to the back. Yeah, there we go. Ah, typical. I hate it when that happens. Freaking don't get the sleeve lined up with that tiny little pin and it won't sit all the way down in the block. You bastard. It's just off a blonde one, you know what I mean? Just a little bit. There we go. See? It was sitting above the deck height here, so I had to make sure I got that little pin lined up. If that doesn't happen, you'll crush that pin, you'll damage the sleeve and everything else, and it's just no freaking good at all. So, that's what happens there. A couple of drops of oil in there. Right, got our cylinder head. These are going to be receiving new glow plugs. I don't have any in stock, so that's why I'm not replacing them right now. But, got our head button. And lined it up. I'm not going to be putting the back plate back on this engine on camera because I have to go find another one because the one that's on here is really goofy. Someone's kind of homemade bump start goof-free, so I think I do have a bump start back plate just for this. So I'm going to look for that later and put it on. I thought I'd just kind of make a quick vid here and share this with you fine people of the internet. always going to be that one screw that doesn't want to go, right? I went like that, didn't it? Yeah, it does. All right. People ask why I also have silicone on there, and that's just to make it easier to grab, like if you're trying to spin things really quick, or so you don't want to nick the anodizing on cylinder heads. That's usually why it's there. And for all you guys that have been subscribing and watching and commenting and stuff, freaking right on. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. You guys are pretty freaking awesome. Stupid freaking, if you guys see troll accounts like those bot channels, fucking spam the shit out of them. I don't care. Go for it. I love it. And another thing that people keep asking me is things for sale. Sorry guys, I don't sell RC stuff. I got out of that a long time ago because deals fall through, people don't want to pay, shipping's expensive, and you know what I mean? It just gets a little bit monotonous after a while, trying to stand in the post office for freaking hours on end trying to get a package out. I'm not doing it, so forget it. Please stop asking me. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So just get it out of your head, your system, or whatever right now. I'm not doing it. That's all there is to it. Sorry. No soup for you. No nitro for you, whatever. All right. There you go. It's all back together nice. Perfect. So there we go. Yeah, you can see this back plate's just a fucking mess. Yeah, but like I said, I'm not selling things. I can't stand people just constantly asking the same questions, and I got some guy in one of the groups got mouthy with me, and even on my YouTube, guy started messaging me getting mouthy and started calling me all sorts of colorful names because he wasn't getting what he wanted. And I told that Richard head to kindly eat a bag of dicks. There we go. I'll just put the carbs back on camera just so you guys can see what that looks like if you're interested. Let's see if we still have enough freaking film space left. Probably just talking to myself again. Yeah, anyways, guys, thanks for freaking watching. That's really cool, man. Never thought my little podunk channel would actually get this far. Which still isn't very far compared to some others. You got that fucking pineapple pen video thing, and got some retard doing something else, and freaking millions and millions of views on something that's so stupid and brainless. I just don't understand why these people get any views at all. Right. This doesn't make any sense. Alright, there we go. All rebuilt, brand new. So, again, the piston and sleeves were pinched. Rods were good, so we just replaced the bearings and slapped them back together. So if you guys found that interesting, right on. Glad you liked it, whatever. I don't know when these engines are going to be run. Like probably maybe a year from now, 2 years, I have no idea. So, the owner, Ed, might do some videos on that. I also have his little Vortex sitting behind me. I got to work on that too, so maybe I'll post videos when I get the parts in for it. But until then, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and keep on burning nitro out there. Later. Happy Monday.